There we go. I think we're doing all right. Nope, wrong way. I want to go this way. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. While we're waiting for some of you guys to filter in, nobody yet. Tonight we're going to talk about fear. Welcome back to Paranormal Witchcraft, LLC. I am Tobias Josephson, and this is the channel where we approach the world a little differently. Everybody feels it, but nobody in the world knows exactly what it is right now. Felt like something is off in the past year or so, probably getting worse and worse and worse internally, maybe. Not something that feels dangerous, not something that feels entirely personable or dramatic, just off. The world just seems different lately. Humans seem different lately. There he is. Everyone feels it, but nobody knows exactly what it is. Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it prejudice? What is it? We don't know what it is, but we feel it. We all feel it out there right now on planet Earth. It's not something that's dangerous. It's not something dramatic. It's just off. We don't know what it is. People are just goofy. They're acting a little weird, right? They're not acting themselves, right? Everyone feels it, but no one really agrees on what it is, right? A lot of people will say, well, it's this or it's that, and I'm not going to use the labels or the words because I might get copyrighted. But if you look at the mainstream news outlets, there's plenty going on. But what is that feeling? And what if that feeling is real? Not only inside me, but inside Chris and many other people across the planet. What if it is real? And the cause of it is something each of us might be misinterpreting. Feeling doesn't equal evidence, like we talk about with paranormal witchcraft. When we do an investigation, we want evidence that's going to hold up to scrutiny. We want validated evidence. We want to make sure we're in control of the investigation instead of giving the spirits an audience when we're not entirely sure there's anything really there. Not every reaction started in the moment you're in right now, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Some reactions you're going through right now might be a couple years old. If you look at the world dynamic outside of being a paranormal investigator or a researcher, there's a lot of stuff that's happened inside the last 10 years. Some patterns of reaction that we could be seeing around the planet could be trained, right? Social media is good at that. People just go along with whatever, right? Some feelings have nothing to do with the room you're standing in per se. So on that note, gas prices are just ridiculous right now. All of us are going, well, do we get gas here? Do we get gas over there? Do we use the Upside app, etc., right? What does that do to you? That runs space in your head. That's something you're always subconsciously thinking about right now going forward, during your weeks, during your months, right? Your job's downsizing. Maybe you've stuck around, but you've seen 5 other friends get terminated because the company had to do what it had to do. All right. So that reactions could be old, they could be new, they could be trained, they could be sudden, all right, based on what people are reading, what people are hearing, who they're talking to, all right, and what they think about all of it, not just the political scene, but all of it, right? I think it's affecting everybody, and everybody is seeing it for themselves differently, right? For some people, it's the political agendas that are bothering them. For other people, it's other things in the news that are bothering them, right? For other people, it is the gas hike, etc., because their lives are pretty good, right? Nonetheless, something is affecting everybody on this planet. Some feelings have nothing to do with what you're doing right now. You could have something holding weight on your heart and your mind today that I don't even know about, and it could have nothing to do with the paranormal. It could have nothing to do with witchcraft or your practice. It could just be life is kicking you in the fucking teeth, right? But what we're asking is the world affecting the way you behave right now? Your friendships, your family, your coworkers? Is it causing problems? Is there a spike in the adrenaline everywhere you look? Hold on a minute. There we go. I had a weird itch. And that's what people start building hauntings. Or that's where people start building hauntings as we tie in the paranormal today and witchcraft into this title. Similar thing. All right. Using things that really don't have anything to do with the investigation. And that's where people start building hauntings out of patterns. All right. Or if we look at it, the mainstream news will use fear tactics and anxiety tactics on purpose because those patterns will get people riled up. They can't say it's a glorious day out there. Look at the sun shining. No one's going to watch the news if you do that, right? They're going to go, yeah, so what? Right? So think about it. And yet it's all people can talk about is the news, except for people like me and Fonda and others. But most of the world has their head up the world's beat. All right. Because they just have to know. But why do you have to know? That's the question we're asking. Why do you have to know? Is it the fear? Is it the anxiety? Do you think someone's going to come and take something away from you? What is it that's causing the fear and the anxiety on the planet? Because people are behaving strangely out here on planet Earth, and they're calling themselves Scott or John or Sally or right, but they're not the Scott or the John or the Sallys we used to know a few years back. They've changed. They're different. Their behavior's different. Okay. So if you think about that, all right, now you're going into an investigation next weekend with Freddie and all your friends, right? But yet you have all this stuff in the back of your brain. You have all this stuff keeping you up late at night, making you lose sleep. How am I going to do this? How am I going to pay that bill? Blah, 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 whatever's going on in your head. Now you're not investigating environments, though, when you come in with fear, when you come into an investigation with anxieties. Everyone's feeling something in the world right now. You have to turn that off. Otherwise, you have to cancel your investigations because you might be affecting the environments, right? Not everybody, but some people, most of the newer people. You're not investigating environments anymore. If you're allowing fear and anxiety control your thoughts and your every daily moves, what you're going to do, what you're going to say, who you're going to say it to, all right, you're not investigating anymore. You're investigating your own perceptions. That's what you're doing. That's it. And that's all you're doing. We didn't come up with that. Everyone else came up with that. Because if you look at it, monkey see, monkey do. Well, they do it. Why can't we do it that way? Right? The investigation didn't reveal something. You completed a pattern. People walk into environments already heightened every day, right? You spilled your coffee on the way to work. What does that do? That heightens whatever mood you're in, from bad to worse, from good to right? But it changes you because now you have wet pants. You're looking forward to the coffee. So people walk into work environments, school environments, home, family environments, collaboration environments on social media every day, already heightened, already amplified by something we have nothing to do with. Do you understand what we're saying? The way the world is working and running right now, there's a lot of false flags on the field, right? There's all kinds of skirmishes all over the world affecting everyday life. How do we know that's not affecting our paranormal investigations? Because it's renting space in our brains and we can't leave it outside. This isn't for everybody, this is for some. But it's a valid question. What if they feel something immediately? Of course they do, because they're already set off from their car ride in on the way into work. People cut them off, they spilled their coffee, they're already turned up. They walked into work, they were looking for something to set them further off. It's a pattern. Fear and anxiety is a pattern. You allow yourself to live inside that pattern. And then what happens? People look to the religious world to free themselves from the pattern, but they don't realize they have to do the work. God, all right, and the angels, or if you're a practicer, Wicca or otherwise, on my side of the fence, right? You still have to do some work as a practicer. As somebody of faith in the religious world, you still have to do work. You have to do your prayers. You have to uphold the commandments. You have to try to be a better person every day. You can't just carry it like everybody else and then call yourself a good person, right? Because now you're fibbing to even yourself. Why? Because the rest of the world does. Well, that's easy. That doesn't make it right. Okay. People walk into these environments every day, already heightened, already turned up. We don't have to do anything for them. They just show up that way. They feel something immediately, they react. That's not discovery. That's just simply confirmation, my friends. Right now, people all over the world already feel unstable, like we're talking about tonight. And this might be what our 3 weekly live streams are about in the short term, is we'll call it current events, and then we'll mix it in with craft and paranormal, because people are unstable everywhere. They're worried about their jobs, they're worried about the gas prices, they're they're bitching about the price of bread and the price of milk and the price of eggs, right? And if that's not it, you have your health issues, then you have your extended family or your internal family, right? You pile all that on top of your shoulders, and you tell me that's not going to affect your investigations ever? I disagree. Even the best of us have a bad day where it carries off into our work environment, right? We call those bad days at work, but really that's what it is. We were set off from the moment we opened our eyes. There's nothing you can do about it, right? But that does what? It controls our mood, controls our actions, it controls our thoughts all day long. And we don't even fight it anymore. We just, oh, I'm having a bad day, stay away from me, right? Try to use a little bit more self control. Try to get better at these bad days. Try to give yourself a pause, a restabilize. See if you can't turn your day around. It does work sometimes. All the time, no, but it does work sometimes. Progress, not perfection, there, right? So, we tie all this in back into the paranormal and paranormal investigators and researchers and paracon this and paracon that and witches weekend and all right. And if you look at all those behaviors that people are using, they're not just they're not just investigating environments, they're investigating their own perceptions, some of them on purpose. The investigation didn't reveal something, And so what happens? They'll give it a narrative of, well, this is why it didn't happen. This is why it didn't happen. Those are either, take your pick, but they're either reasons or excuses, right? Right now, people are already feeling unstable all over the world, so it makes sense that some of them might be affecting their own investigations inadvertently. All right. It's information overload right now on planet Earth and in paranormal investigation, if you think about it. If you're new to it, you have cameras on, you have other things on. I'll turn a music box on. So you have all kinds of things going on in the background of a paranormal investigation while somebody's talking. There's a room full of people. How do you know you're not going to misinterpret something if you're brand new to the paranormal? That's a lot happening, man. It's a lot. I think it makes total, complete logical sense that this could be the case. It's information overload in the world. If you look in the news, I think it's meant to be that way because it wants people biting their nails off. What am I going to do? Because what does it do? It keeps people on edge, it keeps people obedient. Right? Somebody had to say it. I'll be shocked if I'm the only podcaster that got up here and said it on camera, but that's the truth of it. The world paradigm wants control from your work life to your home life. All right. Only you can choose whether or not that's the case. So, right now, it's information overload on mainstream media. All right. And if you tie that to the paranormal investigation field, all right, the same thing. It's information overload. Do you go to a Paracon or do you go to Witch's Weekend? Do you need a psychic or do you need a medium? Should you be doing a seance? All right. Yada, 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 yada. That's why I sadly say that it looks more like a carnival these days in paranormal investigation because it's starting to look like there's side show attractions popping up off of paranormal investigation, what it used to be, what it used to stand for. Now you have Annabelle's traveling. Now you can see celebrities at every single event. All right. These are all added bells and whistles. They'll call them added amenities, but what they're designed to do is get more money from you. That is it. Don't you think these pair celebrities are getting paid enough? I do. Especially if they have some influence, especially if they have some following. All right, I'll say it here again. When you trade your passions for glory, what are you left with? You're left in the end, and this is something that stars, ex stars, all right, who've retired, actors, musicians, you name it, anyone of affluence will never tell you this. But what they're left with after they've affected the world, after they've been loved, is nobody and nothing. A good case of that is Johnny Cash. All right. So humans keep hopping over each other's shoulders because they want to be popular. They want to be seen. They want to be people that are like on TV or celebrity. They just have to have it like those people have to have it. But what they're not understanding at the base reality of it is it all comes down to how you treat people on your way up and how you'll be taken care of on your way down. And what most people do on their way up is they forget their friends, they forget their families, they forget their loyalties. And that is why people like Freddie Mercury and Johnny Cash and numerous other peoples who have affected generations of humans have said this at the end of their days. They have nothing and no one. Fame left them more empty The money left them wanting more. Nothing satisfied the whole. And yet, if we look on social media and everywhere on the planet, it's all about the next best, greatest thing. It's all about the next pair of sneakers, the brand new car, the next phone, the bigger house, the millions of dollars. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but nobody knows how to act like one. That's what we're getting down to today, is the brass tacks. Everybody wants to be like the celebrities, but what they turn out to be is the manna don'ts. It's what we used to say in supermarket retail. You have managers. Well, we came up with the term overnights, manna don'ts, because they talk a lot, but they don't do anything to help anyone else or the greater good. They just talk about it all the time. Yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna. And then they sit back and do nothing day in and day out, year in and year out. And then they don't understand why their followers turn around and walk away. Because on your way up, you probably didn't treat a lot of people very well. You probably ignored people. You probably flicked people off. You broke verbal contracts with your friends just so you could be a little more popular, just so you could get your face on camera, right? Happens every day all over the world. And it's not just the paranormal. Hollywood, the music scene, politics, even the religious do this to each other. Ego is the problem. It's not other people, it's all of us are using one thing the wrong way, our egos. Think about it. Use your ego properly in a competitive nature so you can win races or get the promotion, protect your family, protect what's yours. You're not supposed to use it like human beings are using it in commercials, all right, just so they can get paid. They don't buy into half the products, they just want free shit, okay? So the entire world is lying to everybody else, and you're telling me that the entire world is okay with that. I call bullshit. Because look at how people treat each other just on social media platforms alone. They say they're okay with it, but they're not. I am okay, I swear I am. No, you're not. Not if you're ranting and raving about this or about that. You're not okay with it. You're telling people you're okay with it, but you're not. Remember last night we were talking about a word called hypocrisy, where people say, do as I say, not as I do. I'm a good person, but I treat people like crap over here when I think no one's looking. But, right? So, right now, people feel unstable. People are acting unstable. People are living literally unstably internally. They're just acting fools everywhere. Driving 100 because they're better than me and you, right? Cutting people off in the grocery store, right? They think they're cool because they have a better ride. They think they're cool because what? I don't know. People attach status to things. I have a laptop. Ooh, that must make me the next president of the United States, then, right? Because I can afford a laptop where some people can't. Do you see what we're saying? That's not entirely true. Chris here could be using just a cell phone. That doesn't make him any less smarter than anybody else on the planet or any less better. See how these little behaviors? It's called self centered. Right? People think they have to protect themselves right now because they are watching the news and they're being affected by it subliminally. They say they're not, but they are. They'll even get on camera and lie to you and say they're not being affected. World governments do that the best. They'll say one thing, contradictory country will get up on TV and say something else. Well, I thought our leader just said this a half hour ago. So it's everywhere. It's not just the world governments, it's human beings are doing this now to each other. And that's where we've learned it from. The people who say they have everything under control. They don't. They want the chaos. They want the distension. They want the arguing. They want the debating. They want that. And most of the planet is giving those people exactly what they want, right? So when they stop conflicting realities and they can pull themselves back and go, well, maybe I am affecting my investigations. I guess I didn't realize it. Some people will see this and do that. Most people won't. They'll just say we're full of shit and they'll ignore us and do whatever it is people do when they want to be better than you. Okay? When some people are done conflicting their realities, what we say here on the channel is once you see the pattern, especially in the paranormal field, you'll never look at it the same again. It's all geared towards making you guys think that there's really going to be something every single time, no matter what, because us humans control the spiritual realm. That's what other paranormal investigators are saying, is that they have control over the spiritual realm. They're going to get Chris and me and everyone else in the whole world to see them, that what they're doing on TV is they have control of the spiritual realm. And people like myself who actually really practice, we don't. Ask yourselves that question, human beings. Are the people on TV telling you the truth? Are any channels on this platform telling you the truth now, if they're paranormal investigators? Or are they storytelling? Because the rest of the world does it. No one listens to stuff anymore. Too bad. Have some patience. You're treating the rest of the world like they have no more intelligence now. That's what you're treating people like. It has to be AI or nothing. That is a lie. Okay? It really is. It's called immaturity. Ooh, a bell. I rarely use the thumbnails. I do it when I'm in a good mood. That's it. Not supposed to be using it every day. I get it. It's geared for the entrepreneur. But again, I want people to respect who I am. I want people to respect our team. Fondas and Hollies and Sandys and Kyles and Alexes. That's the whole point, is we get respect in our field for being authentic, for being real people, for being really transparent and showing people what it really means to be a human being. Not just pretend that the world doesn't affect you. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. I think right now it's a good time to start showing our weaknesses as a humanity, as a collective, and ask, what are we going to do about the world right now? Just sit here and ride this stupid wave of insanity that makes absolutely no sense sometimes? Going after streaks, and what about your job? What about your family? What about your career? What about your futures? Right? Why is it always about the right here, right now, or I can't be happy mentality? Who who trained people to be like that? I'm not one of the few human beings being affected by the planet. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. It doesn't interest me, I think. I'm not interested by politics. I'm not interested in debating versus religious versus it doesn't interest me, because somebody always else has to be right. That's why I don't talk to people, because people have to be right now. They can't be wrong, especially on camera. They can't be wrong, right? That's why I'm more quiet than I am verbal, because most people are not telling people the truth. They're just not. They're hiding behind a social media profile, because that is a portion of who they are. They're showing people what they want to show people because they're afraid, because they live in fear. And they'll use things like, well, there's scammers and there's trollers and there's hackers. Well, then get off social media, get off the internet completely, because none of that stuff's ever going to go away. You can privatize every single social media profile you have, but what you're still not understanding is the world's can still see everything you're doing. We may not be able to, but the powers that be can. So you're not really hiding yourself from the dramas. You're not really hiding yourself from the disinformation by just not showing people anything on your profile. Why do you have a profile if it's locked up tight? What is the point of that? Because you're afraid of conflict, because you're afraid of something. That's why you would do that. You're hiding from something. You're saying you can't handle the planet. That's what you're saying. You're telling people like me the planet has gotten the better of you. Instead of using the block button, you just have to lock your world up tight because you're still in the epidemic mindset. That's called living in fear. That's a form of living with anxiety. It is a false safety. If people want to get to your information right now, they can. They can get to mine, Chris's, anybody's. Right? It can happen. But you can't live in such a fear that you bottle up your whole world. Where you can't have any friends, where you just can't trust humanity again. So you'll just have no more friends. And you'll have a social media profile, but you won't talk to anybody. Isn't that kind of a lonely way to go? You're still living your life in silence. You're still limiting to what joy there is on social media, right? You're just saying, I can't handle people. Well, that's fine. It looks like most people can't handle people in real life. They just say things like that on social media because that's what people say. They don't mean it. Do you understand? It's now been a culture that's been geared towards selfishness, selfishness, selfishness. And I disagree with that. It doesn't matter if you're Bill Gates or somebody who lives on the street. Everybody deserves the same amount of respect. Everybody deserves the same amount of love. Everybody deserves it. It's a human right. It's not something to be earned. Friendship used to be something that was free, and now it has contingencies. Now it has contracts. Now it has clauses. Now it has deal breakers and it has boundaries. It has everything it shouldn't have. Because this is where we've brought ourselves as human beings. We keep blaming other people. We keep blaming governments, or we keep blaming religious factions or pagan factions or whatever it is out there that's bothering us. There's humans just, well, it's not me, it's the world. It's not me, it's the world. It's not me, it's not me. Are you sure it's not you? Are you sure you're not part of the pattern? Is what we're saying. Yes, a worldwide pattern where most are being controlled. That's the pattern because that's why no one recognizes it. Everyone's looking around going, Tobias keeps saying things like pattern and shift, and I don't see anything going on. That's because you're probably part of the problem and you're not part of the few that are trying to get the rest of us to help push back. And push humanity back to where we used to love each other. Push humanity back to where we gave everybody respect no matter what. Yes, people have to earn our loyalty. Yes, people have to earn our trust, but not in the ways we're forcing people to do it on planet Earth right now. Everyone feels like the world owes them something. What? Because all you say a lot on social media is a bunch of crap. You just repeat what the mainstream news is saying. Anybody can do that. I can do that. Chris can do that. Sally can do that. A cat can do that. What are you as a human being going to do differently about the world changing around you instead of pointing fingers because you're not sure what it is? You're being controlled by fear right now, humans. Most of you. Don't get me wrong. I'm afraid too. Most humans should be afraid right now. Reality really does hang in the balance because we have a bunch of knuckleheads that shouldn't be doing half the shit they're doing. All right. But they're not going to listen to the billions of people of the world. They've already made up their minds. But that doesn't mean we can walk around and kick people in the teeth. It doesn't mean we can walk around and cause violence. It doesn't mean we can walk around with our words and cause harm on social media on purpose. That's what it does not mean. People feel unstable. That's why they're acting this way, Chris. I figured it out. Because they're hiding behind their social media profiles. They don't want to come out and ask others for help. Remember that thing I was talking about. There's a worldwide phenomenon of false community right now, and it's anywhere from the religious to pagan factions to you take your pick. Groups of humans all over the world trying to secularize themselves from the rest of the world. Anybody who disagrees with any number of these groups or factions of human beings, guess what? Gets what? Hated on. Violence toward them. It's the pattern. It's the pattern. All right. Everything feels amplified on the planet right now. You guys aren't the only one. You're really not. I can drive to the store and back. It's about 15 minutes because I like to go to the next city over and do it and take a drive. And I can just see it from the way people drive to the way people walk. You know, people are guarding themselves. Other people are just wiling out. They think it's a big, huge game of Grand Theft Auto 6, and they can do and say whatever they want to anybody. So, everything's amplified right now on planet Earth. But not because planet Earth changed, because we did. Planet Earth is still planet Earth. The only thing that's moving on this planet is us. We're the ones causing all the problems. And yet we're looking for someone to blame. We're constantly pointing fingers away from ourselves. Why do we feel the need to do that day in and day out? If you're a bad person and you know you're a bad person and you know on social media you're being that way, just say it. Stop acting like you're a good person. Because what we're saying is people like myself and Chris and others see you exactly who you are. Your mask doesn't fool most people on this planet right now, human beings. Your masks are hastily made, and the way you're acting is a very good mirror on what type of person you are, especially if you drive like most people are driving. Lack of patience, lack of respect tells me all I need to know about a human being by the way they drive. All right? Think about that. It's the easiest way to tell who's on some bullshit right now on planet Earth. All right? And sadly, most of the planet is. The rest, they're just beside themselves in fear. Then you have your factions of humans like Tobias and others that are out there, desperately asking humans to wake up from whatever weird delusions of grandeur everyone thinks they're living out there, where you're slapping people across the face and then saying you're a nice person. Not because the world changed, but because people have changed. That's what's going on the planet right now. People are changing. It's really simple. And we don't know how to handle our changes. And so we treat each other badly on a daily basis. And most of us won't say anything because we just won't. Others will think it's about them. Notice there's no names ever, right, lately in our live streams because we're not here to debate or call anybody out. So when did this stuff start? When did this shift that we all can't agree on or can't really explain start? I think it's been happening for a few years now, even longer perhaps. And we're just too busy staring at our laptops and our phones and our mirrors to actually notice what's going around, let alone the sunrise or the sunset. When's the last time you saw the sunrise? When's the last time you saw the sun set? When's the last time you appreciated either one and realized how beautiful it was? Instead of taking this planet, this world, and your lives for fucking granted, which is what most people are doing right now. They'll call it living life to the fullest, but that's not really what they're doing. If you're driving 100 during a holiday in peak traffic hours and you're almost nicking hundreds of cars, you cannot call yourself a good person. And you're lucky that you didn't get in an accident and some father didn't get out and wail you to death for acting like a knucklehead. Because that's what most people are doing in their cars, is acting like a knucklehead. Didn't start with me, didn't start with Chris, right? Where and when did it start? Well, there's a lot of theories out there, and that's the problem with humans. There's as many theories as there are humans now. Well, it's this, it's that. It's the old generation. It's the millennials. It's the Xenials. It's Generation X. It's the politics. It's the religious. No, it's all of it. It's all of us. There is no one cause to what's wrong with the planet. It is us. It is humans. That's the problem. It's the fact that we refuse to be a collective. We refuse to see each other's value. For us humans, it's me, I, me, I, me, I, me, I. All right. And then people will throw in, well, I take care of my family on the side. That makes me a good person. On the side, I take care of people on a daily basis. On a daily basis, I look out for people. You should be doing that on a daily basis. Not just, well, I have a lot of responsibilities. I'm really busy. I'm really tired. Yeah, but you can lay there and still check on people while you're drifting off to sleep. We can do more, humans. We can change. We just don't want to. Somebody out there has to say it. Admit it. You don't want to. Most people out there right now like being self-centered. Most people out there right now like being the narcissists they are, especially if they're entrepreneurs, because they're great at gaslighting. They'll say, oh, it's not me, it's the rest of the world. Okay, right? If you can't contain your emotions, if you can't contain your traumas of your past, if you can't contain your actions and use responsibility, I'm not so sure your investigations will be valid. Because to me, it looks like an all night rave and you're just fucking off with your friends. Doesn't matter if the place has a long history of being haunted or not. I just see the youth investigators ruining it for the older investigators that are more serious. Because everything's fun and games. Everything's a road trip. Everything's ha 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 and he he he. Because most of them are in their 20s. They forget how dangerous and how serious this stuff is, or they don't care because they're like me when I got Asmodeus tattooed on my shoulder, where I just said, right? And you'll have to let those investigators stay there. I can rattle off tons of names right now, but I won't. I see them on social media. That's why I steer away from them. It's not my place to tell them, hey, you guys got to mature the fuck up. They should know that already, right? Especially if they're entrepreneurs, because that means you're a business owner, and that means you should be professional. You should admit when you're wrong. Most of them will never do that. They'll gaslight instead. Well, I didn't do anything wrong. They did something. I didn't do anything wrong. They did something. My example again over last summer, 789 people left in 4 hours. I didn't ask them to leave. I said some things a lot of people didn't like. That is all I did because it was true. And I proved that point because 789 people in the paranormal field left together within 3 or 4 hour period. And yet they'll still tell you to this day, if you ask them, that it was because of what I said. That's why they left. We didn't make them move. We didn't make them go anywhere. They had all those months to come at me and have a conversation, didn't they? Every single one of them could have said, "Hey, Tobias, what's up? Let's work this out. Hey, Tobias, what's up? We could work this out. Hey, Tobias, what's up? Let's work this out." Like real men and women. Let's hash this out. And what did people do? They played high school drama or high school musical, however you want to look at it. Right? People still do that to this day. All right. That's why I keep bringing up we are in a worldwide phenomena of false sense of community. People are trauma bonding left and right, and they're calling it community. All right. And they're not letting anyone else into their little groups, their little factions, their little whatever it is, because you don't agree with them. So, right. Once you see the pattern, I keep saying it, you'll go, holy fuck. Yeah. It's right there in front of your face. It's under our noses. It's in plain sight. It's easy to identify. Somebody labels themselves as all powerful or a good witch or whatever. Or, I've investigated every single location you can. Those type of people have notch upon notch upon notch upon notch upon notch upon notch on their profile. Those are the people to stay away from because those are the people that have to have your attention or they don't want anything to do with you. They're not really your friend, these types of entrepreneurs. They just want to get seen. Do you understand? That's why they need over 500,000 followers. That's why. They just have to have it. They have to be somebody. They have to have that lifestyle. Think about it. It's a pattern. They can't give back ever. All they do is constantly work and talk about how good they are. Think about it. Especially in the paranormal field, there's many of them. Oh, I don't sleep. Okay. Let me guarantee you something, my friends. Any one of us could do what any of those people do. Do you understand that? Anybody can go out and be a Baggins. Anybody can go out and be a Schrader. Anybody. You won't be those people. You'll be something new. You'll be whoever you are. But anybody out there can go and do this work. Do you understand that? Anybody can go be a paranormal researcher. Anybody can be a paranormal investigator. Not everybody can be a practicer or a witch. All right? You have to be called to that, just like on the religious people are called to be a priest or the monkhood, right? Same thing over here, right? It's just a calling. And oddly, most of us are raised religious, which seems to be one of those mysterious mental wonders. We'll probably figure it out eventually. Doesn't matter. But anyways, so I observe the world right now and I conclude that most people aren't investigating fear, they're purporting it. Meaning they're producing it, they're manifesting it because their insides are gross. They're full of fear, they're full of anxiety. They can't ask anybody for help. And so what do? They get louder, they get bigger, they expand more, right? Another red flag to notice if somebody's always expanding, why? Why do you need that much? Because it doesn't matter what you're going to tell someone like me, it's stupid. You cannot take anything with you. Yes, you can leave a legacy, but if you look at the people who say they're leaving legacies in the world right now, they're not really leaving enough of a legacy. If they were, they would have started 20 years ago. That's the pattern. There's more bad people on the planet right now than there is good. That's the truth. There's more bad people on the planet right now than there is good. And most of the bad call themselves good people. They just don't understand that they've misinterpreted that label. And that's not our place to tell them. All right? But it is the truth. Look closer. I say it all the time. People go, what does he mean by that? Look at somebody closer. Stop just scrolling, and not paying attention. Look closer. Treat it like a news story. You have to read. You can't scroll by it without investigating it. Treat every profile on social media like that from now on. I guarantee you'll see the pattern. All right. Why do you think my following is going down rapidly? That's what I've been doing. The back end of the thought experiment a year ago, where I used Meta to get 3,000 followers to try to show people that most people are fake, and nobody got it. Nobody got it. That shows the intelligence of most the people on social media. Yum! Went right over their head. Remember, and they left. Why would that many people walk out of a room if they didn't do something wrong? No? Nobody? I'll let you guys leave that one up to your own. I know why. Okay? Because it's a mass think tank gaslight tactic. They all think the same, they all act the same, they're all friends, they all go to the same events, year in, year out, year in, year out. You see the pattern yet? They'll rarely let anybody new in. They'll talk about it till they're blue in the face, but it never happens. Ever. I know. I've experienced it myself, me and my wife. Promised a spot on a crew, and what happened? Don't know. The owners never came to us. My friend never came to me and said, hey, man, we got some issues. We got to talk some stuff out. We just said, we'll talk. It never happened. All right. So, what does that tell you? I didn't move. Fonda didn't move. Right? It's the pattern, guys. The environment isn't changed in the paranormal investigation industry. It is still paranormal investigation for some of us. It is still paranormal research for some of us. The sad part is that for most of the others, it's just something that's interesting, fun, and everyone in the world thinks they can make $1 million doing it. And that is simply not true. You have to have something else besides money. You have to have something else besides resources. You have to be able to be a good person on camera. You have to be a personal person to run a business. You have to be able to solve conflicts on the fly. You can't just make excuses all the time, right? Any of this making sense to some people? So take all this with a grain of salt if you want, but this is what I see. I see fear controlling the entire planet. I see fear controlling a lot of my friends. All right. Fear is a powerful thing. It'll make us do things we swore we never thought we would do. So, that being said, my friends, what do you think? Do you think there is a pattern to anything I've said tonight, Chris? Do you think anything that I've said tonight makes sense? Yes? I do. If you think about it, I get enough news on YouTube to know what's going on today. I know people are worried about overseas still. I know that Mr. T said some goofy things again. That man gets on stage and says something goofy almost every week. I don't know why people are so surprised. It's just who that man is. Leave the man alone. You don't like him? Put your head down, bury it in the sand with everybody else. It's not going to stop anybody from getting on stage. All this hate and ambiguity. I think what it is humans don't know how to process their own emotions anymore. So they take it out on people on social media outlets to make themselves feel better. That's what I think. I think it's a pattern. I think some of it's trained. And I think the other half of it is ignorance. Because it's easier to be ignorant than it is to be intelligent. So, that being said, my friend, we will see you guys Wednesday with yet another Paranormal Witchcraft LLC live stream. And I'll tie in some current events to it. I think that's a good thing we can start doing. I don't see too many podcasters talking about current events out there right now. I see a lot of reaction videos. Oh, did you see what Mr. T did? Oh, did you see what the UFOs are doing? Oh, do you see what's going on in Iran? Blah, blah. Why can't somebody just talk about all of it a couple times a week? Someone like myself, I don't see the point. All right. You all watch the news. All right. I'm not going to call it a reaction, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the current events, the gas. We'll talk about the things overseas. We'll talk about how we feel Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. How do you feel, Chris? Do you feel safe? Do you feel good today? How do you feel about that shit? Does it make you nervous? That's what we're trying to get people to do. If we can get other human beings to talk, Chris, like this, I guarantee you it's called moral therapy, and it'll heal more than any WA blank will. All that does is cause loss of life and heartache and drama and conflicts and price gouging. Why can't we just talk things out a little more? Why can't we talk between ourselves, human beings to human beings, about the gas prices and how much fear it makes us feel? Why can't we get up here and tell the truth? Some of us. It's not so hard to do. Once you start doing it, it's freeing. You'll start to wonder why you ever lied before as a kid. I can't remember why I lied anymore for my life. And I used to lie, cheat, and steal. I was going to use the joke, once you go black, you never go back, but that's a bad pun. But you know what I mean? Once you start telling the truth and you realize that it's easier to tell the truth, you'll never go back. Man, I spent 40 years lying to people. What the hell is wrong with me? It's just what people do. We're raised that way, to tell that white lie, and the white lie gets easier. And then we start lying because it's convenient, because we're too busy to tell the truth, right? That's where life gets complicated. Just tell people the truth. I don't like you. Great. Why don't you like me? You're a dick. Awesome. Blessed be. You see how that works? You don't have to report somebody's group or report somebody's profile. You just be honest with them. You don't see me crying that somebody doesn't like me, that somebody chews me out. And that's probably because for 30 years, I was the guy who had to get chewed out. I was the boss of an overnight stocking crew for 30 years. That's what I did for the most part. It's my profession. I got yelled at on a nightly basis, and I had to let the customer always be right. That's why if you don't like me and you want to cuss me out, come on. It's okay. The last person to cuss me out of my job, I laughed at him. He got mad at me because I laughed and said, "Are you done?" He got even madder because I didn't do anything wrong. I apparently said or did something that he didn't like. Never told me what it was either, now that I think about it. He never did. He just never liked me. But anyways, it's the pattern. People do it all the time if they don't like me. Why can't you just tell me you think I'm this or that? You'll feel better. I'll let you do it. I don't understand why people hide behind a profile, hide behind a messenger, or delete a message. You can't tell another human being the truth. I'll do it sometimes in admin, but that's because I've mistyped or my phone has typed 4FP R and it's supposed to be FOR. But I see people do it all the time, and I know when people delete a message to me, there was emotion behind it. So why do you feel the need to hide your rage from me? You think it's going to break my heart that you don't like me? You can't talk something out with me? You can't talk something out with paranormal witchcraft, yet you're a professional or an entrepreneur. That's what your profile says, or you're a public figure. If you're a public figure, an entrepreneur, or a professional, me and you should be able to have a one on one conversation, no matter if we're flaming mad, because that's what professional people do. You don't have screaming matches, you talk it out. And 9.5 out of 10, you both misunderstood each other. That's why I dislike social media, because nobody's willing to get on camera and say what they're thinking. They'll post it, but they will not get on camera and defend themselves. Yep, that's a pattern. Why is that a pattern? Maybe because they're afraid to defend themselves. Don't know. So I've given you guys a lot of things to think about. This is why I observe more than I speak, because I want to make sure when I speak, if I say it, I mean it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it these days. 10 years ago in my past, I'd tell you, yeah, I got you, bro. And I'd never show up. I'd steal your drugs or alcohol, and I'd be the one helping you find it. That motherfucker, those fuckers, son of a bitch. Man, those guys are dicks. Oh, yeah. I used to be a piece of shit. We were talking about this the other day. All right. Anybody can go out there and be a piece of shit, a self centered prick. Anybody. Anybody can go out there and be raw. All right. How do I put this? Savage, beast mode. All right. And most people think that's where they need to be right now. Man, the world's going to get so much worse. So much worse. All right. For those individuals, they don't understand. All right. So for people like us that see it coming, the best thing we can do is talk about it. Okay. The amount of changes we're going to witness together in the next 5 to 10 years are going to be out of our wildest dreams. I can guarantee most humans. If we can't even tell what's for real on social media right now, in 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a lot of confused people, right? And so we need to start talking about stuff now. All right. That's why I'm so against the AI takeover, because everyone's so for it. I get it, because you can sit here and do nothing all day long and it does all this awesome stuff. It's addictive, yes. But for your business, I don't see the point. People should be showing up to see you and your team. They should be showing up to hunt with you and your team. What does these thumbnails have to do with you and your team? Paranormal investigators. Like, not people like Phil and others. I'm talking about the paranormal investigators, where every week, different location, and every thumbnail is they're going to shit their pants. Why? That's right. See? And it makes them madder than shit when you do that. Well, everyone does it. That's why. But you haven't even thought why you're using the thumbnail. You're just using the thumbnail because everyone else does. Are you a paranormal investigator, or are you here to perform in the paranormal with your friends? It's not paranormal party. It is, but it isn't. It's great to have fun with the paranormal, but that's the problem with humans, is we take an inch and we go a mile. It is so past the real paranormal field right now. Like Stone Age right now, if we're looking at the timeline. I mean, that's how far off track the paranormal industry has gone. Literally. It's all bells and whistles now. And it's take everything out of the protective boxes and let people touch them. Right? What are we going to do next? Summoning Belial? Next week at Pennhurst. I mean, Jesus, where do we go from there, guys? We don't control the spiritual. That's the point. We don't control the spiritual. I truly believe the spiritual makes us believe we can control them. But I truly believe they can take any one of us out. Any one of us at any time. We don't really know enough about the spiritual world to say that we have total dominion over it. We have things we can do against it. We have things that seem to work. All right. But I think we're going to learn some crazy shit about the spiritual world going forward. So when I look at the thumbnails, I don't see the relevance. I don't see the need. Besides the fact that you're trying to fake people out so they'll watch you repeatedly. That's what I see. I just see a flashing light. Look at me, 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 look at us, look at us, look at us, look at us. Did you forget to look at us? Did you forget to look at us? Did you forget to look at us? Don't forget to look at us. Don't forget. Don't forget now. Don't forget. Don't forget. Why do people need to be like that, Chris? Low self esteem, narcissist, full blown, probably. It's always about them, always, right? The whole room is about them. They just don't tell the rest of the room it's about them, but it is. It's always about them, especially if they're like some of the people on TV, right? That has to show you their faces every time, every time, every time to make sure you don't forget who they are. Why does somebody need that much attention? Because they don't feel good about themselves any other way unless they get superficial attention. That is not what it means to be a confident human being. It is not a popularity contest. If you become popular, it's because you've done the work and people respect you and followed you. Like when I look at social media and I see 500,000 followers and 800,000 followers, bullshit. Those people bought those followings. Okay? I don't know how many times I have to say that. They bought those followings, which means those followings are not truthful. And yet everyone believes them because subliminally, oh my God, they got 500,000 followers. They must. You see how easy that was to trick people? It's taking candy from a baby. Those people did this. They bought their subscriptions at the highest subscription they could afford because when you do that, these corporations will help the algorithm find you faster. And what does that do? That gives them a false sense of growth. If you look at my profile, all right, over 2,000 people, and there's maybe 50 people online right now. Same thing there. If they have 500,000 or 800,000 followers, I guarantee you there's maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people across the world online for that person. They don't really know that many people. There's no way any human could personally know 500,000. Think about that. Do you really want to try to remember that many names? And again, does it matter? You really need that many people to look at every morning and go, man, that makes me feel like a real human being. I've got all the followers in the world. Man, that makes me feel so good. Come on now. Somebody's lying. It ain't me. It ain't Chris. It ain't any other paranormal investigator I know. So the only people left that have moved are the people on TV, the people that people look up to all the time. Hate to bring that up, but look closer. Look at the pattern. Why are you spending that much money in subscriptions? Why? Because everyone else does it. Again, why? If you looked at your pocketbook, you'd probably realize you're spending at least $50 a month on subscriptions. Why? So you can feel like a human being? You don't do that when you go outside? You're not a good person when you go outside? Just when you're on camera, you're a good person? See what we're saying here? Do as I say, not as I do. If you go around about your daily lives, you'll see it everywhere. The world is stuck in hypocrisy right now. Most of the world thinks they're good people while they turn around and crap on people every day and don't even realize they are. Either they've been trained, raised, brought up that way, don't know, right? But it's arrogance, it's ignorance, right? It's attitude, it's disrespect everywhere you look. Why? From children to grown men and women. Why? Because fear. Because they're afraid something's going to be taken away from them. Okay. Well, that could happen to me, could happen to Chris, could happen to any number of persons or family members I know. Happens every day, happened last week, happened the week before that, happened 10 years ago. And the fact that it's different now is why. It's easy because of AI. Stop trying to blame things that have nothing to do with what's wrong. It's us that's wrong. It's us that's causing the problems. Because too many of us believe everything we see, we believe everything we hear. We're sitting in an age where people are trying to diagnose themselves with AI. Where do you people expect to be in 20 years that are doing stuff like that? Like, what are you doing? Trying to self diagnose yourself with something that was just introduced to human beings like 8 months ago. Like, what? You're just going to trust an app? That's the problem. You don't even know what the app is. It's a pattern. Okay. I think it's blissful ignorance because people don't want to be human. I think it's blissful ignorance because people don't want to be nice. It's hard to be nice to some people, right? That's what I think. I think the world is paralyzed in fear in one form or another. If it's not the oil, it's the agendas or the mainstream news or, some weird dark internet thing that people have nothing better to do than to float around the internet. Nonetheless, it all points to one thing: humans not treating humans like other humans. There's no sense of brotherhood, there's no sense of sisterhood, there's no sense of humanity, there's no sense of responsibility at all on this planet right now. That's the problem. Everybody's just trying to get rich quick or die trying. That's the mentality of the planet. The self centered, I got to have more than everybody else. I got to be seen more. I got to be heard more. I got to have more. I got to be more. Because if not, I just can't handle life. I just can't handle being a simple human being who's happy in the little corner like we are at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Just can't be a normal human being who's happy with a little following and a business. You just have to have all the marbles. It means that much to you. Your traumas are worse than my traumas and everyone else's. We don't understand. Life is so horrible for everyone else but us, or than us, right? Our lives were worse coming up than the guy next to us or the lady next to us. And that's why we act the way we are. And it's easier to play the victim and it's easier to be hypocrites. And it is hard to live right now. It is hard to be a good person right now. It is hard to show love. It's even harder to show respect because people think that to be respected, you have to earn that now. You have to earn their respect. Okay, that's why I go out and I say, I want to meet you, I want to shake your hand. So, this false confidence you have in social media that you're somebody. I can't tell you how many times I've been on the road and I'll reach out to people and silence. All right. That's in the last 5 years alone. That's how I knew it was coming. People were just getting faker and faker and faker and faker with each other. And yet using the same terms their parents did. Well, I'm a good person and I'm a Christian and same story, different day. Right? It's the same world, different humanity. Right? There is no big, huge mystery. There is no conspiracy. There is no agenda. It's us reverting, is what's happening. Because there's not enough of us that are smart enough or that want to be smart enough. Most of us just want to take the easy way out right now because it's just easier. Sometimes you have to choose your hard, and that's in life, like in choosing your battles. And sometimes when you choose your hard, you have to leave a lot of things, people, places, and things behind because your happiness right now does matter. But it shouldn't be indicative on what you have, who follows you, how much money you have. And if it is, then you're not really happy. You're just lying to the rest of the world saying you are. Right? Think about that. We'll see you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Blessings and blessed be. Have a great evening, my friends. I love you all.